And it's not just Demaya. Essun, despite her strength and resilience, also struggles with internalized prejudice.
Right.
She's spent years hiding her powers, trying to fit into a society that rejects her for who she truly is.
Her journey is so powerful because it's not just about finding her daughter, right?
It's about finding herself.
Yeah.
It's about confronting the ways in which she's been forced to conform.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Welcome back to Witter, deep dives for busy minds. And we are in the middle of our Black Voices series for Black History Month.
That's right.
So we thought it'd be fun to do a deep dive on the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. Have you read this one?
I have read this one.
It's the first in a trilogy.
It is.
And I have to say, it kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, it's a wild ride.
It's a wild ride. I'm not going to lie. It took me a while to get into it.
It's definitely a book that demands your attention.
Yes, and you kind of have to give yourself over to it.
Absolutely. You have to be willing to let go of any preconceived notions you might have about fantasy and just go along for the ride.
Exactly. It's set on this supercontinent called the Stillness, which is anything but still.
Right. It's constantly under threat from these apocalyptic environmental disasters called seasons.
Yeah. I mean, imagine living in a world where earthquakes and volcanic eruptions and tsunamis are just a part of life.
It's a world where the very ground beneath your feet could betray you at any moment.
And within all of this, we meet these 3 extraordinary women. And their stories are woven together in this really intricate tapestry.
Yeah, it's one of the things that makes the book so compelling, the way Jemisin connects these seemingly disparate narratives.
So we have Essun, who's a middle-aged woman living in this small community, and her life is just completely shattered when a devastating earthquake hits.
It reveals this horrifying truth. Her son is dead and her daughter is missing.
It's heartbreaking. And it's made even more intense by the fact that Essun is an origin.
Right. Someone with the power to control the Earth's energy.
I mean, they can quell earthquakes, control volcanoes, even reshape the landscape.
But their power makes them outcasts, feared, and ostracized by society.
It's really interesting how Jemisin uses the origins as this metaphor for marginalized groups.
Absolutely. It's a powerful exploration of how difference is often perceived as a threat and how those in power seek to control and exploit those who are different.
And then there's Demaya.
Yeah.
This young girl who discovers her orogenic abilities in this terrifying incident.
She's taken from her family and brought to the Fulcrum, which is this training academy for origins.
It's supposed to be for her protection and training.
Right. But the reality is much harsher.
It's really a story about control and exploitation.
Yeah. The Fulcrum, with its strict hierarchy and brutal training methods, becomes this symbol of the ways in which institutions can be used to oppress and dehumanize.
And then we have Cyanide. She's an ambitious and talented origin.
And she's sent on a mission with this powerful and enigmatic origin named Alabaster.
Yeah.
And their journey takes them to this blocked harbor where they encounter this mysterious force that challenges everything they thought they knew.
And we're introduced to the ring system, which ranks origins based on their power.
Right, with 10 rings being the highest.
It reveals the power dynamics within the Fulcrum, the competition, and the pressure to conform.
And then there are these ancient giant structures called obelisks.
They're scattered across the landscape.
And their purpose is shrouded in mystery.
They add this whole other layer of intrigue to the story.
They're like these remnants of a lost civilization, hinting at a history that's been forgotten or suppressed.
And then there's the stone lore, this ancient wisdom that's passed down through generations.
It's like a secret history of the world, a different way of understanding the past and the present.
It's fascinating how Jemisin weaves together all of these elements, the personal stories of these women, the societal structures that shape their lives, and this ancient history that's slowly being revealed.
And it all comes together to create this incredibly rich and complex world.
A world that's both familiar and utterly strange.
A world that forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and our own society.
It makes you think about how you would navigate a world like that, a world that's constantly threatening to destroy you.
And what choices you would make to protect yourself and the people you love.
It's a powerful and thought-provoking book. And we're just scratching the surface here.
There's so much more to unpack.
Yeah, but we'll dive deeper into those themes in the next part of our deep dive, so stay tuned.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that really struck me about the 5th season is how Jemisin uses the stillness and the seasons as this way to explore our own relationship with the environment.
Oh, totally. I mean, the seasons are not just natural disasters, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're a consequence of humanity's actions.
Yeah.
A reflection of a broken connection with the earth.
It's like a cautionary tale almost, right?
Right. It is.
Think about the environmental challenges that we face today. Climate change.
Yeah.
Resource depletion, all of that. Jemisin is kind of forcing us to confront the potential consequences of our actions and consider what it really means to live in harmony with our planet.
And she does it in a way that feels so visceral. You can almost feel the earth shuddering the air, thick with ash and smoke.
Right. You're really in it.
Yeah.
But even within this bleak landscape, right, she shows us this power of resilience and adaptation.
Absolutely. The characters in this book have to constantly adjust to a world that's unpredictable and often hostile.
It makes you wonder, what kind of resilience will we need to cultivate in our own lives as we face these growing challenges of climate change?
Yeah.
And what can we learn from the mistakes of the people in the stillness?
Right. And it goes beyond just environmental commentary. This is a story about power control and the ways in which marginalized groups are systematically oppressed.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how the Orogens are treated. They're feared for their power, exploited for their abilities, and ultimately controlled by a system that claims to protect them.
It's a powerful metaphor for the historical and ongoing oppression of Black people.
Oh, totally.
Jemisin isn't shying away from the hard truths. She's showing us how systems of oppression are built and maintained and how they impact the lives of those who are marginalized.
One of the things that really resonated with me is how she portrays that internalized oppression that many Orogens experience.
Oh, yeah.
They've been taught to fear their own power, to see themselves as dangerous and different.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Think about Demaya, forced into this rigid system at the fulcrum.
Right. It's stripping away her identity.
Exactly.
Her family, her sense of self.
She's constantly reminded of her otherness, her power viewed as a threat rather than a gift.
It's a stark reflection of how societal structures can be used to control and dehumanize entire groups of people.
And it's not just Demaya. Essun, despite her strength and resilience, also struggles with internalized prejudice.
Right.
She's spent years hiding her powers, trying to fit into a society that rejects her for who she truly is.
Her journey is so powerful because it's not just about finding her daughter, right?
It's about finding herself.
Yeah.
It's about confronting the ways in which she's been forced to conform and reclaiming her own identity as an Orogen.
Yes. And it's through Essun's journey that we're introduced to Kistrima.
Right, this hidden community of Orogens who have rejected the fulcrum's control.
They've created a space where they can embrace their powers and live according to their own values.
Kistrima feels like a beacon of hope, a vision of a different future.
Yeah, it's a community built on cooperation, mutual support, and a deep connection to the earth.
But it's not a utopia. There's still conflict, struggle, the lingering effects of trauma.
Right.
Jemisin doesn't shy away from the complexities of building a new society.
No.
We see how past traumas and internalized oppression can continue to shape relationships and power dynamics.
Oh, for sure. Even within a community that strives for equality.
Exactly. And it's within this community that Essun is finally reunited with her daughter, Nasun.
Right.
But their reunion is far from simple.
Right.
Nasun has been on her own journey, grappling with her own powers and the legacy of violence that's been passed down to her.
Their relationship is one of the most compelling aspects of the book, I think.
Absolutely.
It's a story about mothers and daughters, about trauma and healing, about the struggle to connect and understand each other in a world that has tried to tear them apart.
And let's not forget about Alabaster.
Oh, yeah.
The enigmatic ten-ringer who has broken free from the fulcrum's control.
He's like a force of nature.
He is both literally and figuratively capable of great destruction and profound love.
His story is such a powerful exploration of the complexities of power.
Right. Strength.
Yeah.
He's a reminder that even those who fight against oppression can perpetuate harm.
And his relationship with cyanide is so intense.
Right. Oh, it's a whirlwind of passion tension, this constant push and pull between their desires and the harsh realities of their world.
It highlights how power dynamics can play out even within intimate relationships.
Mm-hmm. All of these characters, their stories, their struggles unfold against the backdrop of a world teetering on the edge of collapse.
Wow.
The seasons are intensifying, the earth is becoming more volatile, and the very survival of humanity hangs in the balance.
And it's within this context that Jemisin asks us to confront some really challenging questions.
Like, what does it mean to be truly free in a world that seeks to limit your potential?
How do we navigate the complexities of power, both within ourselves and within the systems we inhabit?
How do we build a more just and equitable future in the face of overwhelming adversity?
Right, these aren't easy questions.
They're not, but they're questions that we need to be asking.
Yeah.
And Jemisin's work gives us a framework, a language, a way to begin to grapple with these issues in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that makes the 5th season so powerful is Jemisin's use of language.
Yes.
She doesn't shy away from the harsh realities of this world. You know, there's pain, there's violence, and she uses language that reflects that.
You're raw.
Yeah, it's raw and unflinching, but it's never gratuitous. You know?
It's purposeful.
Yeah, her language is intentional, purposeful. She's reclaiming language that has been used to dehumanize and oppress. And she's using it to give voice to those who have been silenced.
And she does it in a way that's both beautiful and unsettling.
Yeah.
Her prose is lyrical, evocative,
Yeah.
and it just pulls you right into the heart of this world. You can feel the earth shifting beneath your feet, taste the ash in the air.
It's a reminder that language has power. You know, it can be used as a weapon, but it can also be a tool for liberation.
Right.
Jemisin wields language masterfully,
Yes.
weaving this story that's both captivating and challenging,
Yeah.
forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world we live in.
And ultimately, that's what makes this book so important. It's not just a fantasy novel.
Right.
It's a reflection of our own reality.
Absolutely.
It's a story about the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity, about the power of community and connection, and the importance of fighting for a more just and equitable world.
The 5th season is a call to action.
It is.
It asks us to examine the systems of power that shape our lives, to confront our own biases and prejudices, and to work towards creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a few questions to ponder. Think about the characters in this book, their struggles, their triumphs. What resonates with you?
Yeah, what lessons can we learn from their experiences? How can we apply those lessons to our own lives, to the challenges we face in our own world?
And as we celebrate Black History Month, let's remember that supporting Black authors goes beyond just this month. Seek out their stories, amplify their voices, and celebrate the richness and diversity of their perspectives. Because their stories matter. Their voices deserve to be heard not just during Black History Month, but all year round.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. We hope it sparked your curiosity, challenged your assumptions, and left you with a sense of wonder and a desire to explore more. Until next time, keep diving deep.
Thanks for listening to Witter, Who Has Time to Read, produced by One Media. Please support the author by purchasing the book or audiobook using the link in the description. It's a great way to help keep the art of writing alive. And stay in the loop. Subscribe to our newsletter for updates on weekly deep dives. And don't forget to share your thoughts or suggest our next deep dive at witterpodcast@gmail.com.